Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. We are back with another Rogue Scholars ooh.
Oh my god, so soon. Wait, he's dropping the Prime?
Yo.
Okay, hold on, I can't. Yeah, hold on. Same.
Well, at least you gotta flex up on me with this 36 months.
Double
Dang.
poverty subs incoming.
Double poverty subs. Interrupting the intro. Awesome.
Yes. Yo, what's up, Tequila? What's up, Jack?
Yo, welcome from me and my two subscribers. We got another Rogue Scholars podcast for y'all.
Back so soon.
This time on Elden Ring. It's not 2026 yet, and we are doing a podcast.
Told you I could do it, guys. I told you.
I was worried with Sunflower there.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Let me pull up your boss list, too, actually, while we're here.
So, welcome in. This has been a long time coming, but we are finally ready as a group to talk about Elden Ring as a whole, not just the DLC. Since we've never talked about it before on stream in any large capacity, we're going to be going through what we liked, what we didn't like, and then the DLC and the fabled Night Rain that is coming out soon. So, a lot to talk about, little to get into. So, let's start it off, I guess. Audio's a little bit lower on the rest. I will turn up what I can. Both of them are turned up all the way. I turned up the computer sound just a tad more. We'll try that too. Alright, let's do a sound check for Q and Trell.
Yo, what up?
Is that better?
Dude, real quick, hold. Hybrid Heaven sucks ass. Okay, now I'm done.
Okay. I think that's a little bit more balanced, right? Let me know Tequila. So I think
that's the first for me being a silent one too. That is a first.
It's weird. It sounds good to me on Discord, but
okay.
I guess I don't know the volume of my own voice as easily. And that, yeah. So.
Right. Yeah, I think it's better. I can also be a little bit further from my mic, maybe, and that might help too. So, Trell's audio is a bit lower than the rest, so maybe maneuver your mic a little bit closer to your mouth.
Deep throat it?
Is this better?
Oh, that's much louder.
Oh, Tequila says, yeah, okay. Very good.
All right, it's better. Okay, so one problem that we have is that Trell, when did you smack down on the Elden Beast? When was that? What was the date of that? Do you know?
Oh man, when did we say that we were going to talk about it? We said we were going to talk about it in the 2023 end of show. So we couldn't talk about it because I had beaten it yet. So that means 2024.
Yeah,
did it probably?
Yeah,
early
sounds
on,
reasonable.
Maybe March or something. When did Elden Ring release?
February of 2023.
February of 2023.
Seriously?
Yeah.
In February of 2022.
Up to.
Who's that? Oh no, that sucks.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't realize it was that long
February
ago.
25,
Okay.
2022, according to Googs.
No, that's right then. I just didn't think it was that long ago.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
That really is.
Huh.
So what was the last one before that? Before that, it was
Sekiro,
Sekiro.
right?
Sekiro, and that was
It had to be
2019.
2019. It had to be. So I remember hating grad school, and that was there to save me.
Yeah.
And then before that was Dark Souls 3 in 2016.
Yep.
So they're like on a 3-year cadence.
Sekiro never got DLC. That's such a scam, but that's not the topic of
Well,
It really is, though.
podcast.
Well, see, here's the thing. If they're in a 3-year cadence and 2022 came out, Elden Ring, then where's their game this year? Night Rain is no.
Yeah, but they did do a fat ass DLC.
That is true. That was a huge DLC. However, I think Night Rain is their 3-year cadence marker, but I think that they're behind schedule, and I think they just threw something together that
They
way.
also made Armor Core during that time, and I don't know how much
That was a different team.
That
was a different team.
It probably was, but it's still FromSoft.
Oh, Trell beat the Elden Beast in November of 2023. So I guess we were putting off talking about Elden Ring during that New Year's because we wanted to do our own podcast on it.
Maybe.
We just never did it.
Yeah. Then we're just all bad.
Okay.
All right.
Got busy. Fair enough.
It's been so long since I've played this game. I'm struggling to remember what my reactions
DLC
were
was
on
what,
it.
like 6 months ago?
No, I mean like just the game in general.
Oh, okay.
Like my original playthrough.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to
First
remember.
off, what fight styles were y'all? Let's just get into that.
Yeah, good call.
I've done 2.5 playthroughs. The first was pure dex, not like a bleed dex, just like a fast like knife throwing dude. Then I was a big strength boy with Radon swords, and then in my half where I stopped after I beat the DLC, I was doing like an arcane build.
Okay, which one was your favorite then?
I like being fast. You know, I like being fast and getting on
I
top of
kn-
people. And they got
yeah.
on top of me. I got on top of them. We're all on top of each other in the fight. So yeah,
Oh,
it
I'm
would
sitting there being fast, like, oh.
Yeah, we're all fast. So yeah, the dex build. The dex build.
I knew that was gonna be your answer. Yep.
Yup.
Wombat, what about you?
I was strength, dex, stamina. So like just straight up get in there and bang. I think I used
Straight
pretty
up
much the
get in.
broadsword the whole time.
Okay.
Um,
To be honest, I feel like a lot of the beginning weapons were ones that you ended up using way longer than you ever considered you would have.
well, they had the stacking when it came to like strength, and that one had strength and high
Yeah.
vigor.
Then I get familiar with that move set, and then I'm like,
Right.
I don't want to learn a new move set because I already know this one.
And also-
but then I really want to branch out because the game has so much shit to it. But
It
yeah.
did. I did. So there was. I had a couple backup weapons. So there was the broadsword that I used throughout the whole playthrough into the DLC because, and we'll get to this in a second. What I did for getting to the DLC, but I used the gargoyle halberd that you got from the twin twin garg fight.
Mhm.
And that's what I used as like my longer range weapon because it had the because I put the whatever the sword ash on it where you could summon the int daggers that would like shoot at people when they got close.
Mhm.
That I got from the Mia fight. So I basically used that to like have range, and then it also had a bigger reach. So it was nice in that way.
Okay. I'm sorry you had to experience a little bit of int boy stuff because that's all I was int boy. I
don't think I used a single spell. Yeah, aside from the ash.
It did offer some easier encounters than I think than the melee boys probably had, but then it did offer its own struggles and uniquenesses. So
Mhm.
I think we got a pretty broad spectrum of the different playthrough styles in here, all present and accounted for.
Yeah.
Overall, I guess just as a high level, what did you guys think of the game compared to other FromSoft games?
It's my favorite.
It's your favorite.
I
Wow.
know. So I'll say this because I know you're thinking about Dark Souls 3. And also this Dark Souls 3, I agree. The quality of bosses in Dark Souls 3 on average was probably higher due to how diluted Elden Ring's bosses were because they just kept throwing shit in there. And so the reason why Elden Ring is my favorite is because besides obviously the combat in Souls games, I really, really enjoy exploration as much as the combat, arguably. And so just the fact that there was so much to do and explore and see in Elden Ring pushed it just barely over the top of Dark Souls 3 as much as I love the entire roster of bosses in that game.
Okay.
And so that's my short answer of that, and that's why it's my favorite. It's because there was just so much to see, do, and explore, and there's so much build variety in Elden Ring.
I can understand that because like the open world and exploration is something that FromSoft has never dove into yet. It's always been more linear. And I think that they went back to that formula, in my opinion, with the DLC. I think the DLC was way more linear than the open exploration of the base game. Even in the storytelling, I think the storytelling in the base game was a bit more of this broad spectrum of like learn of the gods, learn of the history, and find all these things, go wherever you want to go. Where in the DLC it was a bit more hyper focused on just like Mikola and Mesmer. I would probably say it was probably like the second biggest part of it. Right?
Yeah.
But So and then like rather than having all this, there was still quite a bit of exploration. There's no lying there, but I think there was a bit more verticality than exploration in DLC rather than in base. But I would say I preferred the DLC over the base because it was more linear. But and that was probably why I would give it to Dark Souls 3 over Elden Ring, because I like the linear stuff a bit more, because I think it's a bit more of a catered uh, experience. Not saying I hate like open world or anything like that,
Oh,
but
sure.
like I think that I personally in just having like a bit more like catered thing, maybe a bit more higher quality bosses and stuff like that. I don't know. It's hard to take that away from Dark Souls 3 for me, so I'd give it to Dark
I
Souls 3.
agree. If you asked me which game had the higher average boss score, it would be Dark Souls 3. Because there are so many bangers. I'm including the DLC of Dark Souls 3 as well, because you know one of my favorites is in there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Actually, a few of them. God, Kebab's not in here. Yeah, so Gale, Frida, like, oh my god. So
Yeah.
anyway, that Dark Souls 3 definitely has the higher average boss score. I just love the exploration of Elden Ring, and I can't think of any other game, that single player game, that I've spent 200 hours on and loved at least 80% of it.
and it was rewarding. Like the
Yes.
like um fuck you, Arceus.
Oh my
Elden
fucking
Ring
god,
actually
yes.
was rewarding with their exploration. Where if you had another game like Arceus, all of a sudden you go out there and you just wander around. You're like, I literally just wasted an hour and a half because I didn't do anything. I didn't accomplish anything. Where in Elden Ring, you're like, hey man, I found stuff. You either find items or you get dunked on, and you're like, that was funny. I'm glad I encountered that. You know, I just think it was very rewarding. So I think they did a fantastic
Yes,
job.
agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Wombat? Yeah.
So I see what you're saying about the linearity of the DLC, and I know that was kind of questioned in chat. So let me kind of see if this is where you're at with it. Like, it's linear because it wasn't like when you were in the main game. Like, you could just wander into Caelid in a whole bunch of different ways, or into the lakes. There's, I guess, two access points, and then Altus Plateau is two access points. So like I could see where you're thinking that it's that the DLC was more linear because like there was singular access points, but there were a lot of places that were also multiple access points that you could just wander into. Um, so actually, I kind of just explained myself out of understanding what you meant because I think let's kind of rattle it off here. So Weeping Peninsula has one access point. You can just go over the bridge. Liurnia to the lakes, you have two access points. Either you go through Stormvale or you go around Stormvale on that secret path. Caelid is just Caelid. You can go in through Caelid or down into the Siofra River. Those are all both just one access point. Unless you do the warp point into Dragon Barrow, which is technically a second, but really it's just attacking from a different direction. You can't go up into the plateau unless you take the back way or the main path. One way is story driven, the other one is not. And then you can't go into the capital unless you've defeated two bosses. You have one access point to the volcano, one to it's actually I would say fairly linear in terms of the order that you need to do it. You have to complete XY thing in order to get to XY place, right?
Right.
And similar in the DLC, like you couldn't get into certain places unless you did XYZ thing, right?
Did you study like the Google Maps of the access points or something? Because that's incredible that you remember.
No, I'm just rattling it off.
Very nice.
I know.
Very
It's fair.
nice.
It's fair to question me on that. Like, I'm not saying that the DLC wasn't exploration heavy. I just think it was more of a structured exploration than the base game, if that makes sense. So it's still like,
Probably because
obviously,
it's a smaller area, right? So and they cram
yeah,
a lot more into it. In the DLC, there is a lot of. I would actually say it's more exploration based than the base game. The base game just has bigger areas to explore into. Instead of variety, you have just bigger areas with smaller access points.
It's fair. Like
DLC
I
was a
think
lot more intermingled, right? There's so many layers to it.
that's where I'm thinking. At least where my mind's at is that the level design. I feel like in a lot of those areas in the DLC had a lot more verticality. Like take the mountain. Shoot, I can't remember the name of it, but
Altus Plateau, or are you talking
no,
about
no,
in the
where
DLC? Sorry.
Vale was.
Oh, Arc Dragon. No, Arc Dragon Peak is Dark Souls 3. Vale Land.
Yeah,
Yeah. But like you're climbing up that thing forever, and I feel like there was a bit more like areas where it was like Shadowkeep. How high was Shadowkeep? How many floors in there, or whatever,
right.
you know? So I think there was a lot more like verticality rather than a wide open range or something like that. So I think the level design just made it more structured. You're like, there's only one way to go up, so you're just gonna
Yes.
keep
Yeah,
going.
Vale
Further,
Zone
further up.
was easily the most linear. Yeah, thank you, Stucky. It was the most linear. You just go up, and you fight 18 dragons, and
Right.
you have a good time, hopefully.
Yeah.
I
But
would
still, in the sense of exploration, a big exploration game to play. Yeah, I just think it was more structured than the base game.
I would argue though that Elden Ring did the exact same thing that the Dark Souls games did. They just upped the size of it, so it felt more open world. Um, the and that was the departure because um, in Dark Souls games the areas were smaller and their access points were smaller, so it felt more, to your point, ordered and curated of an adventure. Whereas in Elden Ring, it felt more open because it was just bigger. Um, but because of that, there were large open spaces where there wasn't really much to do, at least in the base game of Elden Ring. Um, and there was a lot more of the same type of thing. Like, and we're gonna get into this in a little bit, but like a lot of the same type of bosses and repeats. Dungeons that looked very similar or functioned very similar with an end boss that was different. Um, if in my opinion, Elden Ring was basically just Dark Souls on steroids, right? And
Was, yeah.
there was a lot more side effects from the steroids because of it.
Side effects is
Yeah.
hair loss.
For better or worse, right? But because the I don't know, I preferred the steroids game because there's just a lot more action you got out of it, right? Um, and I liked what they did with it, for sure.
Would you be down to play Elden Rings 2?
No.
No?
I
Elden
don't want
Rings
Elden
2?
Ring 2.
Yeah, if they made an Elden Ring 2,
I'm
would
not
you guys?
fucking play it, but I don't want I'd rather have them make another game.
Okay.
So you're
Why-
like,
why
you've
is
got
that?
a Miyazaki mindset then, because Miyazaki doesn't like making sequels.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad Dark Souls 3 exists, but I would have been fine if there's. I mean, God, it's hard to say. I don't want to Dark Souls 3 out of existence, but I like that they're focusing on making new IPs. They make Bloodborne, they make Sekiro, they make Elden Ring. Make something new. I also don't know if I want something as big as Elden Ring again. Not that there's just a lot to take on. I loved it. I'm super glad it's there. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time. Or it is one of my favorite games of all time. But I don't know if I want it again.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. Was it a masterpiece? Yes. Was it a banger? Yes. Am I glad I'm done with it? Yes. I don't want to keep playing it. Like I was getting to the point there at the end. I was like, all right, I got like maybe 4 more bosses left. I was like, yeah, let's get through these because I want to play. I've been eating chocolate for so long. I want to try like a different, like give me like lemon meringue or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
it's like if you get
for
this your
sure.
favorite chocolate every year for Christmas, you're like eventually you're like, can I get like Slim Jims or something this year? Like,
yeah, like,
Yes.
a little different, please. It was fantastic. It was one of the best games I ever played. But
Yup.
I'm ready to play other stuff.
Like, yeah, would I be excited if they made Elden Ring 2 or announced it? Yes, but I'd be more excited if they announced something new that I'm with some other name that has some other cool stuff to it. So
Yeah.
yes.
Yep. Oh, why isn't the ERDLC banger certification? I do need to probably do the ERDLC banger certification. It was a banger. I was glad. I mean, that was a bleed on for me for.
Oh, yeah,
for
I didn't know
last
that
year.
counted. I thought you were only like doing that for games that you started in 2025. I mean, either way, yeah.
I mean, I could throw that on there, sure. Like, but I wasn't going to count it just because it was like, yeah, it was like a bleed on from the previous year. But to me, it was right in there for my theme this year of like trying to play nothing but bangers, and
Yep.
that game was an absolute banger. I love it. So I did earlier, and I don't think we can have a way of showing it, but I can drop links in my Discord about what I thought the rankings of the bosses were, and I can
Yeah,
talk to
hold me
it.
pull that shit up now. I've been purposely not looking at it. Hold on. Where's my other tab? Okay.
So I guess to start the base game, and I just went through a tier maker list to kind of
Yep.
just. I was just like, and mostly I just wanted to just trying to get my head wrapped around because there's so many bosses, and I was like,
So many.
let me just take a look just to
Yeah.
remember. And a lot of these dudes, I was like, I forgot about you dudes, to be honest.
There's
So
165 base game bosses,
or
and
more to
then
see.
and then there's 41 DLC bosses.
41, dang. I was about
So
to start breaking out into the Pokemon song there when you said that. There's 141 more to see. So I think the only S tier in the base game are Placidusax, Millennia, Malekith, Radagon, and Radon.
I would personally swap Dragon Lord with Moog, Lord of Blood.
Really?
I love Moog. Moog's my
Moog was
favorite
great.
boss. No, Melania is. But then he's my second favorite in the base game.
I mean, I put him in A. I thought so. Like some of the A ones, and there's quite a bit in A. It was Moog, Renala, Loretta,
Mm.
Moog again, the Fire Giant,
That's
and I
annoying.
put Godfrey in there, which might be a hot take. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people might S tier him, but um, there was.
Wait. Oh, yeah.
But then if you look at like, if you just like took a step back and you're like, oh, where all the bosses lay in this game, there's a lot of mid. Like
Yeah,
there's some
Elden
really
Beast
good
for me
ones.
is mid. I think Elden Beast is boring as fuck, and he looks boring as fuck. He's low B tier, high C tier for me.
I mean, I have like maybe 5 in the D tier, and it was like Soldier of Godric, and I'm like, that was just a regular NPC, but you were so low level that it was just like a boss at that point in time. I was like, that's a D
Yeah.
tier boss.
Who the
Uh,
fuck is Battle Mage Hughes? I've never
I-
seen this man in my life. I
Battle
swear to
Mage.
God, dude.
Battle Mage was the guy with the hammer that was in the arena in one of the jails, the ever jails.
I must have fought him. Or I assume I did. Either way, again, if I have that reaction to you, you're an F tier, or you need to be on a separate list. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So again, like, and that's probably one of the detractors for me. It was, I mean, do you call it a detractor though? Like, you have such a wide open world game, you can't have like 141 S tier bosses. I get it, but sometimes it was like, did you have to put it as a boss bar? Maybe just put it as a regular enemy or something like that.
I would
Like,
be fine
Right,
if they just
like
weren't even in the
Dark
game at
Souls
all.
did. Yeah.
But yes, either way.
Well, I mean, like think of it like Dark Souls 1. We fight the Capra demon, right, as like a gatekeeper, and then when we
Yeah,
get to the
down in-
demon
yeah,
area, it's all over the
Isla.
place, right?
They're all over the and the Taurus team.
Taurus
Dude on the
demon,
bridge
too,
was-
yeah.
Taurus, yeah.
So I mean, like they could have continued that kind of pattern for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
like every time I encounter a new dragon, stop flashing at the boss bar. It's just a dragon. I don't really care.
or truly make them different. Like, I was fine with like the different evolution stone versions of dragons. Like we had a poison dragon, we have a freezing dragon, we had the lightning dragon, right? Those that's fine. But like
Those are pretty cool.
there were
yeah.
some and the magic dragon, yeah. But like then there was just like a bunch of dragons that were exactly the same, right?
So many dragons.
It would have been cool for them to like make them look different, act different, you know, like in D
You'll
and
just
D.
try, just do something. Yeah, dude. He loves his fucking dragons. I'm surprised Armored Core got made without any dragons coming in there. Like, he wasn't the director of that game. Never mind. That's why. He like gave some insight, but he wasn't the game director. That's why there's no dragons.
Well, honestly though, like the dragon fights were neat when you first approached them, and maybe
Yeah, the
after
first of each type or whatever, maybe. Yeah.
But they were also they were very boring because like you just went on torrent and you just kind of dinked them and you're like, well, here goes the next like 20 minutes or kind of thing, you know. Maybe there's a faster way of doing it. I'm sure like maybe you melee boys for getting in there and doing it differently or something, or I don't know. How'd you guys approach the dragons?
I got on torrent, and then I would jump off torrent and do like a jumping attack at their foot, and I would keep hitting their foot till they stomp on me, and then I would repeat it. So it wasn't that different.
It wasn't
was
very
still really
different,
boring.
yeah.
Okay.
It was slightly faster because they would eventually get staggered, and you could get
Right.
a critical hit on their head.
Right.
But it was still not.
Dagger dragons. Wow.
Yeah, if you hit them, it's not super quick, but it's something.
Okay, so everyone had the kind of similar experience of it. It was just a boring fight.
So,
It's yeah.
Kibito, dragons would only fight other enemies in the DLC. Before that, they would be able to injure enemies, but all the enemies would go after you still.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
true. So, okay, that part was actually kind of cool. Like that, the few points where dragons were fighting other people.
So let's see. I would say
Jack, sorry, I left the wrong name. Yeah.
so. One thing that I was kind of I kind of was okay with the repeats, because because the big game was so big, there needed to be a way to get the XP. I would have preferred it to be a little bit more variety, but like when I've replayed the game in order to get to places I wanted to go, I found myself like going in and just getting those bosses real quick, so I have some quick XP, right? And I know where they are, I know what to expect, so it was a nice way of getting somebody more familiar with fighting and practicing it on the same type of enemy, or like having a reward for the ending of a section. So like I understood why it was there. I just wish it was a little bit more different, or if there was a little bit more care. Like how many cat dogs were there, like to fight?
Yes.
Oh my god.
So I'm actually gonna put into chat my breakdown of the bosses for both the game and the DLC. So I have a list in order of how I fought them, and they're all links to like my final
Oh, nice.
beat of them. But then at the bottom, if you scroll all the way past the invasions, all the way past everything, there's groupings of bosses, and you can see how many repeats there are of the different types.
Oh my god.
So we can see the repeats and things like that. Even some of the bosses that you had in your S tier, there was a alternate version of them. Like, Moog had the Omen and the Lord of Blood. Morgott had Margit, right? The Omen killers.
They're so funny with their names.
Yeah, Godfrey, and then Godfrey as Horolu, right? Like, because we had the Phantom version of Godfrey in that room.
Yeah.
O'Neill and Niall, yeah. So there's a lot of repeats, and anything that's in italics is somebody from the DLC. Just as a heads up. So
Okay, thank you.
So a lot of those ones, arguably, maybe aren't repeats. I feel like if the model was a little bit different, like the Phantom Godfrey, maybe was a little bit different.
had the
from
same
regular ones.
moves.
Did it really have the same moves? I feel like it had a couple different ones.
Nope,
Man, that's
same
disappointing.
moves.
Yeah, I did.
So it was just like an easier fight then.
Yeah,
There's a lower health bar or something like that. That is
and it didn't have
disappointing.
the intro stuff. So like how Horolu like throws his axe away and then goes super like Saiyan on you.
Yeah.
That second part isn't in the first fight. So, yeah.
Man, I thought that there was. I mean, I haven't had to go back and look up, but I thought they were different enough that I didn't even consider them being repeats. But yeah, that is. I guess it's almost like a teaser to the actual one, because that one didn't really give me
It
much
is.
trouble at all.
Yeah, and it's weaker too. It can be staggered easier because it's just a Phantom.
So like the only non copycat boss was Elden Beast and Rykard.
Millennia.
Oh man, yeah.
And Millennium.
I can't believe that Mikola chose Radon over Millennia as like the consort. I guess that was surprising a little bit at the end there for.
I don't know the lore behind it at all. I just assumed that Miyazaki was like, yeah, what if we had a real Radon fight?
Yeah, rather than just the one where he's like.
But
sitting
yeah,
there
maybe there was
killing
some lore
it.
shit, but
So I guess let's talk about the main story first, and we can get into the DLC. So I guess the main story is pretty much a Dark Souls story, right? Like there's a good ending and a evil ending, and one's about fire, and
I don't know. But if you say that that's correct, I believe you.
and there's a few other endings based on like some story designs, which is why I had like New Game plus 6 or something like that to get all the different endings. But yeah, it was pretty much your standard fare for, like, I don't know, I don't think they did anything like impressive with the main story.
I had George R. Martin. How can you say that, dude?
So true.
George R. Martin's contribution was literally just all the names of the different bosses had to have a G, an R, or an M in it. That's all he contributed.
Because I honestly don't know what his.
Why did we need
was.
that?
I was absolutely memeing.
He did contribute some stuff at the very, very beginning, but it was mainly just still FromSoft, and they brought him on to kind of promote the game.
That's useless. Okay.
But like, think about it, George R. Martin. You have G names, Godfrey.
Yeah.
You have R names, Renala, Rani.
If you got any amount of money for this, it was too much.
M, you got Morgott, you got Millennia, right? Like, they're all Malekith.
That's probably why they chose that.
Nicola. Like, they literally named those people because of his initials. That's why their names are that way.
That's so stupid.
I never connected it to that, but that makes sense, to be honest. I know that it was all like they were like siblings or whatever. So like, as like, you know, any stupid parent that sits there and names all their kids the same thing and they think it's clever or whatever, they're like, we all got M names or something. It was kind of like one of those notions. You're like, okay, you're very clever, very good job, Radon, or you know. It was
yeah.
No, go for it.
I don't know, like, I was able to predict all the final bosses for the base game, and that was, you know, like, great.
I think
Thanks.
That was purposeful, right? Though, right? Because like you knew you started, if you were paying attention enough to the lore, I guess, and I wasn't per se, but you hear the names in passing of a sibling or something like that, and you're like, okay, there's probably, I'm gonna go through the whole family tree here. It looks like, you know. So you did get a little bit of prediction there as you were kind of playing along, where you probably didn't get that in so much of Souls games until you got more into the area, and then they probably started introducing the person. And you're like, oh, who's this guy?
Mm. Yeah, I actually have a prediction list at the bottom of that link I posted, so you could see what my predictions were for the DLC as well. I was not very right with the DLC. So for the base game, I had repeat boss 4000, which was correct. That was the Godskin duo. Godfrey, the real thing, double correct. Epic Dragon, correct. It was Placidity Sex. Beast Cleric, correct. It was Malekith. Gideon, correct. Radigan, correct. America, wrong. Maybe DLC. And then the Elden Ring as a creature, Shard Monster. And I was correct. I was actually really excited that I got that one. But
it's awesome.
You're half right on America. She is Radagon.
Well, yeah, but yeah, she wasn't depicted as Marika at all. We only saw her as Marika after we beat Elden Beast.
Okay, so you were thinking like there was gonna be an actual separate
America. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was actually really interesting. That part was kind of a cool twist that Marika and Radagon were the same person, but it was hidden behind like some secrets that you wouldn't really be able to find out until much later, or if you were really, really paying attention to the intro. Because in the intro, when they're banging on the anvil to destroy the Elden Ring, the first bang, it's Marika, and the second bang, it's Radagon. I don't know if you noticed that.
And there was like some sort of emote that you could do in front
of the... Yeah, and that's what I meant by the secret. Yeah. As part of the Sunshine Boy quest.
Oh my god, Faith Boys. I'm so glad none of you guys Faith Boyed it.
Gil did. He was a Faith homie.
It's fucking Faith Boys. Get everything. I honestly liked the lore of the game and stuff like that. Like, again, like in hindsight, right? Like going through it, like any Souls, like I think it's too cryptic where I'm not paying enough attention, and I don't want to invest the time to sit there and read all that stuff. I'm glad it's out there because I'm sure it does float somebody's boat. But afterwards, and I haven't done this with the DLC yet, I usually just go and binge watch some lore videos. So I do need to do that still with the DLC stuff because I'm sure it needs to get all kind of piecemealed together for me. Still, I think I get the gist of the DLC. I feel like was a little bit more easier to digest
Sure.
than the
Yeah.
base game.
I think the
But
most
again, it
interesting.
was a bit more catered.
Yeah, exactly, because it's more condensed. I think the most interesting plot line in Elden Ring itself was the fact that Ranni hired assassins to kill uh,
Yeah.
Godfrey, or
Uh,
no, not Godfrey. It was Godwyn. Godwyn,
Godwin.
the
Godwin. Yeah.
Papa.
Sorry. How could you get those confused? I mean, they're like
Right.
pretty.
Oh my god.
So yeah, actually, you know what? I think my least favorite thing about the Elden Ring was not the repeat bosses; it was the repeat names.
Yeah.
Um, the names needed to be different. Like they just did.
I don't think it did him any favors. Like I
It
think that
didn't.
little
It
like
didn't help.
cleverness thing or whatever is like because how many times are we talking about someone like wait which one was that or something like that? And
Margit, what was it? Yeah.
yeah, you're like
And
I
then
don't
they end
know.
up being like I liked the idea of the twinning. Like everything kind of had like a duality, right? Just like
Yeah.
Marika and Radagon, but
Yeah.
um, or if they didn't, they had like a shadow, a compatriot, right? A consort. So like, and to your point, the reason why Millennia wasn't the consort of Mikola is because she was already a an Empyrean. And I don't know if you know what an Empyrean is, but they're both Empyreans, so they both get consorts. Her consort
Oh,
was
you're right.
what's his face? Uh,
Malekith, right?
yes. No, that was America's consort, right?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Who
Yeah.
was Millennia's then?
Millennia's, I don't think had one. And I think that was part of her rot story. But anyway, I really liked Ranni's story about killing Godwyn, and then she also destroyed her body and turned herself into a spirit so she could become an Elden Lord, kind of like what.
Yep.
In fact, and the reason I'm getting to this is because Ranni's story was the most interesting, and it's the story that they used for the DLC too, because there are so many parallels between Ranni and Mikola in terms of what they did to try and become the next Elden Lord.
Oh, that's interesting. I
Yeah,
never thought about that.
they both destroyed. They divested the parts of themselves to become a spirit version, and then tried to get a consort. We were the consort for Ranni. Radagon was Mikola's consort. So at the end of the day, the DLC ended with us fighting it was the two consorts fighting basically.
So I'm sure I haven't gone into the lore videos of the DLC yet, but how does Radagon come back then?
Radagon. Mikola used Mohg's physical soul. So when we destroyed Mohg, Mikola took Mohg's body and resurrected Radagon's spirit. So like that body that looks like Radagon, it's using Mohg's blood to make it.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. So Mikola kept his Radagon's soul, or not Radagon. Yeah. No, not Radagon. What's his name?
Radon.
Radagon's soul. There it is.
Sorry, you were
Radagon's
saying
soul
Radagon, and I was hearing
and
Radon.
Mohg's
This isn't
Mohg's
confusing
body.
at all, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So Star Scourge Radon when we defeated them, and then when we defeated Mohg, it unlocked the DLC because Mikola's plan could finally start going into effect.
Okay, interesting, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna have to those Vati Vidya videos. I'm gonna have to deep dive into all those. He goes into quite a great amount of detail. So then, I guess going to the DLC bosses. I feel like there was, and then this is typical of FromSoft and going in their DLCs. I feel like there was a much higher percentage of S tier, A tier bosses in the DLC than there was in the base game. So, and I'll put this in my Discord as well. But so for the S tier, I felt like there was only like 5 in the base game. How many do I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the DLC. There's still a heavy weight of mid dudes in there, but I feel like that it was definitely a lot more enjoyable, a lot more mo beta bosses in the DLC.
I do agree, and that's probably because, like you said, there were fewer of them overall, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
I
sometimes
think
like quantity versus quality. It's like, come on, guys.
Gaius for me is like C tier because I thought he was boring as fuck, and Putrescent Knight is like maybe B tier, and then I would remove personally Finger Mom and
Mom.
Sunflower, and especially Divine Beast are leaving A or S tier, and they can go down to A or something. Did
I
you
had
find was that
I had
Sunflower?
to put
Yeah, it's actually
Sunflower in
fair.
S tier, man. He honestly he was a really good boss. I enjoyed him. I
I
thought he was
can't remember.
fantastic.
Did
But
you find the repeat boss of Dancing Lion?
there was a repeat.
Yeah, I didn't think you did. Yeah, he gets repeated, bro. That's why
Yep.
he's not S tier for me. He gets
Oh,
repeated.
man, that's
yeah, he sucks.
awful.
He sucks ass.
So he's in the area where
Romina.
Romina is.
The
So
floating ruins
yeah.
area. He's
there,
up
there's
there.
he's up in there.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets full on repeated. He has
Oh, and not only that, but he has
yeah.
new elements that he spews out, and one of them's Death Blight,
Yeah, it's a shit fight.
and he
It's so
and he
bad.
summons whatchamacallits,
I don't know the little minion fucks. I don't know what they are though.
the basilisks. He summons basilisks
Oh
to
yes,
attack
that's
you.
it.
Oh my god. I should go see if I can find him. That's
Yeah.
disappointing.
I was pissed.
It is.
I
And
thought he was really good.
he's
Leave him
not
alone.
incredibly hard,
Good.
too.
Demoted bitch.
Man, that's awful. How could they do that to him? I felt like he was a really good boss too. I mean, honestly, hearing that does feel like I do want to detract from the points, but like I guess nonetheless, my experience was really good with him. But if I saw him again, that would have been kind of. I guess that's like
fair. Yeah.
my initial reaction when I went in there and I saw Radon at the end of the game, and I was like, I was all of a sudden like, fuck, a repeat boss. And I think you were spamming in there like, don't you dare call him that. And I was like,
you
but
haven't seen him yet.
look
You
what
see his name.
they taught
Yeah.
me. Look what they taught me. I was like, here we go. We're gonna have a Radon repeat fight. I was like, that's fucking terrible. But I also was like going down that road in my head because I was like, what? You've trained me this. I'm disappointed now after this cutscene. Man.
That's funny. I don't blame you for thinking that initially, for sure.
I mean, if they had left the DLC end game boss as a repeat boss, I would have been like, man.
The
I don't know
DLC
if I can
itself
call
would
you
have gotten like a
Masterpiece.
7 at best then. Yeah, I've been so mad. I would have been so mad.
I thought
Man.
the golden hippopotamus was an interesting fight. I
I
liked
hate that fight.
I liked it.
I liked
I'm
it
glad you did.
until they made him regular enemy.
Well,
Yup.
I encountered the regular enemy before I fought the hippo.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that regular enemy was smaller and he was bigger and did more stuff. So because he went supersonic, so I thought it was fun. I beat him pretty quick, but I mean I also beat Bale in 4, so
In 4?
in 4, yeah.
Holy moly. Bale's probably my favorite boss.
Bale. So actually, here's something that you probably didn't notice about Bale. Trell. Bale has 2 heads, 2 dragon heads, tangled up in his like spikes in the back, and they're the 2 heads that are missing from Placidusax when they fought. Because those 2
Really?
fought. That's why Bale's all crippled with his wings torn off.
Yeah, I want to fight Prime Bale.
Prime
Yeah,
Bale.
go
Yeah,
back time.
that would be so
Prime
cool. So yeah, if you look at his model, there's 2 heads hanging off of him, and it's Placidusax's heads that he's missing. It's really awesome.
Wow.
That is actually
that's
really
awesome.
cool.
I did not notice that. No, I was too busy having a big old stump in my face. I didn't realize.
Getting stumped on.
I was getting stumped on. So for me, the top bosses, I think, top 3 would be, for DLC,
Yep.
would be Bale, Romina,
Yes.
and then probably Midra.
It's just so good. For me, it's Bale, Mesmer, and probably Radon. Pre-nerf Radon.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I'm interested in what this nerfing was too. You guys said it was just like the phase 2, it was just more consistent.
he had way more. Okay, so part of this is my own fault apparently, and not everyone experienced this. But first of all, the things that everyone experienced was that he had more fewer time or short timing between attacks, so there's more dodge spamming that you had to do to get out of there. There are more light ray moves, but I had ray tracing on, and I got lagged fucking hard whenever he would use his Faith Boy attacks, and that made it tough.
Oh shit.
And I didn't realize that was a problem, but yes.
Okay. So man, you had bad performance during that then?
I
Like,
had bad performance issues. It was tough, man.
It's lagging me. It's lagging me. It's dropping my inputs.
Wait,
It was fucking
that-
lagging me.
that didn't take away from you ranking him. It's still S
No,
tier.
he was too sick. He was too sick. He was too sick. And then I actually fought him again. Tequil mentioned this in chat. I don't know if you saw it. Tequil sent me his save file so I could fight Radon again because I didn't save before I beat him. It was a Faith Boy build this time because I used Tequil's character. I didn't respec or anything. I fought him again with ray tracing off, and so there was no lag, and it was a much smoother fight. So that also helped.
Okay. How many times have you fought him though? Because you also had 2.5 playthroughs yourself, right?
But just twice. Once on the 2.5. Well, I said 2.5 because one was just it was base game twice, and then also one DLC of my own, and then just fighting Radon again with Tequil's character.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh
And then
yeah.
the half playthrough was me going through half the base game again as my like third build, but then I just like okay, I want to do something else now.
Tra-
So you never went through the DLC a second time?
No, just once, unless you count me fighting Radon again, but I don't.
I guess why didn't you?
I wanted to play other games. I was like 230 hours deep into Elden Ring. I didn't really
Yeah.
want to play the DLC again.
I get that. I mean, I only did it once, but I've already like, yeah, I want to move on to, you play so much soul. Like even I think in the bangers that I have coming out this year or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, Liza P. But I'm like, I don't want to play Souls like right now. I want to play something completely different. So I can understand that.
Yup.
I started playing Elden Ring again. Okay, so I guess two things. One, I had to play Elden Ring from scratch again to get to the DLC because I wanted to be playing the DLC on New Game. And since I was New Game 6 on my character, I was like, I'm not fucking going to the DLC with this. So I basically recreated my first playthrough and got myself to the level that I was in my first playthrough at the time when I beat it. And had all the weapons that I used. So that way I could go into DLC as if it was just a continuation of that first playthrough. So that was kind of fun to do that. And I also went through with my cousin and started playing the game as well. And was trying out like a caster build. And I did not enjoy the experience, so I went back to to strength build.
I will not be playing a caster the next FromSoft game for sure.
But yeah, I haven't gone through the DLC a second time yet because my cousin and I were going through the whole game to get to the DLC, and we kept getting stuck on Radon. But I'm looking forward to getting back there. But ultimately, I'm so busy playing other stuff too. Like, yeah, I got Tears of the Kingdom now, and my cousin's kind of bored of Elden Ring at this point, so he got me Lords of the Fallen to play with him, and I haven't had time to even start that. So,
Oh, I was gonna ask you how is that because it sounded like it was pretty hyped up.
I've heard a lot of people say it's awful, so I'm not excited to play, but I am curious, and I do want to try it out. He got it for me and stuff, but
Okay.
I also haven't had the time to. I typically when I play a new game, I play it on stream, but he doesn't want to stream it with me, so it's kind of like I'll get to it when I get to it kind of thing.
Yup.
Sure. I did not play the DLC on New Game Plus because as soon as I finished the base game, DLC was already announced, and I think it was kind of everyone knew it was like all about Mikola kind of thing. I think that's what the hints were. So I think that the suspicion was, oh, you're the only place you see Mikola is at Moog's place or whatever, and there was that kind of very big whole scene laid out where Mikola's there, laying there, and you just see his arm, and it was like it felt like the entrance point, and it turned out to be the entrance point. So I think I just parked myself there after beating Radagon, and I was like there, and then I never touched the game again until I was like, it's DLC time, baby. So I wonder, you guys in chat, they're all saying that NG Plus was actually significantly harder though for the DLC.
I didn't play the base game, but here I don't. Base game, New Game Plus was not significantly harder, so I'm assuming the DLC was also not significantly harder. But I've only played New Game Plus DLC, so I don't know.
What did you guys think of the whole Skadu tree leveling system?
Good. I liked it. That way you could not worry about being over leveled from playing the base game too much. I thought it was a good way of doing it.
Yeah, honestly, no complaints. I think it almost was like the great equalizer.
Yeah.
If you were if you sat there and you had no matter what new game you were on or whatever, and no matter if you sat there and you leveled up to level 500, you're
Yep.
gonna go into New Game Plus, and they're like, we're wiping that clean. And you're starting fresh. That way you get the experience you're supposed to get, kind of thing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I did like that. It was a nice way of doing it. It's a little annoying that it was like, oh yeah, here's another system or whatever, and maybe they didn't give it the menuing. Like I guess I wasn't able to allocate things anywhere or something like that. But it was kind of like, I don't know, maybe purposefully done that way, right? Because like the amount of damage you do is going to be uh, factored in with your Scadu level or whatever. So
Yeah.
In chat, I posted the bosses that you missed in Elden Ring base game.
that I missed. Oh yeah. Wasn't it like,
It potentially Kibito,
They're all
but
bullshit bosses, though, right?
yeah, for the most part, there's a few unique ones that you missed, but
is there?
yeah,
Who's Miranda the Blighted Bloom?
that's one of the flowers, so don't worry about that. But like
Okay.
the abductors in the bottom of the volcano was an interesting one because of how you got to it. Trell, did you know that you could get to the volcano by letting the abductor virgins in the base of the Hogwarts Academy kill you by taking them into themselves? It would transport you to the volcano.
No, I did not know that. Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Pat just tells us
secret,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah, and there's
That's
a secret
funny.
boss under the volcano because of it.
Okay. But really, they're just more of those abductor dudes.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a boss.
Another falling star beast. Another demi-human.
Necromancer
Nice
Garrus is one that I was surprised you didn't find. You didn't find that cave at all. There's actually a cave with two bosses in it, like a double 2-for-1.
Oh, really? There's
Yeah.
that one cave in the DLC that every time I went near it, remember it broke?
Oh, Crash! That's right. You had the
Yeah, my
faithful
game-
only cave you weren't allowed in.
Yeah. I think Scapita was touching up on that too. Like in chat, I was like, I need to see if I can go there like off stream and get back to there. I was so.
That was
weird.
wild. I forgot about that.
Also, Trell, in the DLC, you killed 3 at least NPCs. Those bug guys that didn't attack you, they were actually NPCs that were
That's
part
just
of a
typical Trell
quest.
shit. He kills people.
Yeah.
And then he,
What bug dudes?
The
they look like giant maggot worm fuckers. Come on.
the guys that shoot the things out at you. There's some friendly ones
Wait,
that
like, all of them are attacking me.
No.
no.
Are
he
you fucking kidding?
he
look,
posted
you
Tequila posted
hero
up
away.
above at
That's
803.
the only link.
There's
Oh,
3
so
links.
Did he already posted a link?
Yeah.
My bad.
He posted.
Oh, he
them.
did. Yeah. So there's those clips. There's a picture if you just want to see that. They're just lying on the ground, and you're like, yeah, fuck that guy. Just like you did to every other NPC in so many other games. Most of those love games.
But
But
like every single other, fuck that, man. Every single other one is attacking me.
What you needed to do is Morn has a whole thing with them. Yeah, they're his
Oh my god.
scavengers. Yeah.
The only side mission that I'm glad I've done thus far is fucking Ymir. Yeah, I thought he was my boy, but all of a sudden he also
I'm glad you did
betrayed me
that.
too.
I'm
That was a
glad you
good
did
fight.
that because
That was an interesting fight, though.
the mother of fingers is just it's such a interesting design. I know you didn't care for it as much, Kirby,
it was boring.
but I thought it was kind of neat to like just see like what the ultimate finger was.
I loved that fight. It was good. That
Yeah,
whole
I liked
quest
it
line,
too.
I think for the most part, when I play through the game, obviously none of us like spoilers or whatever, but like I do appreciate you guys always leading the blind man to the bosses. Where if it's a unique boss, like obviously if it's all like, hey, you missed some like boss over here, I'm like, have I at least fought one of their models? Because then I don't really care. But
Yeah.
like Finger Mommy, that was a unique model, and I'm glad I went all the way to the end to see that. So I appreciate you guys leading me there.
There's an item that you missed in the DLC that would have helped you had you been embraced twice by Mikola. It's a braid of Marika in Marika's hometown, which is in the DLC, but you skipped right past it. You didn't see it.
Oh my god.
What's her hometown?
Yeah, her hometown is in the Shadowlands.
Is it the
Marika's?
Well,
It's
you're not talking about the golden braid, are you?
oh yeah. Did you find that?
I got that. I got it. Yeah.
Before
Okay.
we get too far from the Finger Mom, did you answer Jack's question already about that item that you can get from Finger Mom's Remembrance?
Because
Okay.
I was just about to touch on that too. Thank you.
Very good.
So with that, is that one that you get with the remembrance?
It's a remembrance choice. You
Yeah.
either get like a spell, I think, or you can get that staff. Or no, maybe it's something else. Anyway, that staff's a remembrance thing, yeah.
I think it does tell you it does both, right?
You have to read the item description. It doesn't tell you unless you look at the actual lore description, but yes.
But I don't think it scales as well as Lusat's.
No, it definitely. Lusat's is like the top tier, especially because it takes more FP to use.
Yeah. So I think I did read that one, Kavito, and I want to say I remember that it said that you could use incantations with it. However, I probably would not have used it because of the memes.
No faith allowed in this house.
No faith allowed in this house. So, like, honestly, I do want to go back and try to, like, I should probably go back and try to use it now and go get it and see if I can't.
You could do every spell in the game.
I would have every spell in the game because then I wouldn't have to have, like, the fucking, what was it called? Not the what's the catalyst for incantations or whatever?
The talismans. I have no idea.
I can't remember what they're called, but like I didn't want to have to manage those items and a sword
makes sense.
and a staff, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'll stick with just staff. But honestly, I feel like the faith spells were so much better. At least from I haven't really used them, but they just looked way better than what Int Boys had. Int Boys had like a couple things that would go maybe 3 meters in front of you and die off, and I was like, this is terrible.
Faith boys get everything.
They do, man.
good.
There was honestly like, I feel like I picked the worst class to play through in the game. It was funny in hindsight or whatever, but like going through it, I felt like there was not much choice. A lot of the spells, like you would get ones that kind of like rained a couple sparkles, and it was like, what is that supposed to do? Why did you even make this spell? You know, I feel like I was asking that half the time, and maybe I need to go watch like a blind playthrough of someone doing a faith one. Maybe they're gonna have the same complaints, like, why did you make all these incantations? But like I see if I go look now and I see some stuff on the base game at least, and I'm sure I'll see it on the DLC because I've watched some base game videos at this point, but watching even melee boys, they'll be using like incantations to like, you know, something of vow to like buff themselves up and stuff like that. And I'm like, see, like no one's turning to int spells saying like, oh, I need to buff myself up with int spells. It's because they're not useful. So it's super frustrating.
Yeah, I didn't really go into. I wanted every spell, but I didn't want to use any of them because I like to collect everything.
You should have them.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to collect them, right? Same thing. I just wanted to own them. I'm like, I'm not going to use magic in this playthrough, but
yeah. So did you guys cheese any bosses?
no, I don't think that's fun, even remotely fun.
How many did I cheese? I know Gaius absolutely got the stinkiest cheese that I've probably ever produced.
Oh my god, that was really, dude. That is so unfun for me. It's I don't understand how you want to play a boss.
I got off
game.
on that. That was
God.
so. I just thought it was hilarious that he was just sitting there stuck. I was like, oh, I'm doing this to you.
The only boss I've cheesed
so
like Trell is actually from Sekiro. It's the carver guy, the souped up carver guy. I glitched him off of the cliff, and he died.
Oh, really?
But
I thought you glitched the demon of hatred or something like that.
Yeah, demon of hatred. You know how the
scooped up carver guy to you. That's what you. I know it's him, but you couldn't say the demon or the big
I
fire boy.
I can't remember. I can't remember his name. So it's been forever.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten back to him because I can't get past Jenna Cheerios again, like the original. But so Millennia, I did end up. I had over 120 attempts on her, and I just got so fed up that I summoned a mimic of myself and destroyed her shit. I have beaten her since solo, but like I was just done. I was like, I'm ready to move on. So I summoned my Mimic Tear, and a lot of people were like, Mimic Tear doesn't work because Mimic Tear just allows her to heal more. But I was able to just stun the shit out of
Absolutely
her.
works.
Yeah, I stunned the shit out of her because my build was all about overcoming poise and stun locking bosses. So like using my shield ash to like block damage and then do heavy hits to break their poise, and then I hit them in the what I get the what's the attack, the critical attack, and then I'd get healing from it because I had that
Oh, you're the talisman for it?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was kind of my build, and I did that in the DLC too.
That's nice. I feel like sorcerer was definitely a class that you should use summons on because you have Commodore number one.
Oh my god.
You're gonna be leaning on that like crazy if you have someone else taking the damage for you. So that was not doing the base game and the DLC without summons or Ash summons was a good challenge for sure.
Agreed.
It was always interesting, like when I would go see a new boss and I would like do a couple runs. I was like, let me see what it would look like if I had a summon in there, and I would walk in there and I was like, it just felt super cake. I was like, all right, it changed to the dynamic entirely. I know that they offer more health to the boss or whatever and so that, but yeah, I think I'm glad I went through it without a summon for the sorcerer. But if there was one class that needs to probably use a summon, it's sorcerer.
Yeah, I ended up using my jellyfish summons as a meme for many of them. Sometimes I would just summon it at the very end to kind of meme on the boss.
Yeah.
But jellyfish didn't really do much. It does spray at the boss and sometimes hit a poison proc, which was nice. But like it really didn't do much. You let yourself die. So I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I got fucking salty at Millennia that I was just like, I don't even give a shit. I don't give a shit. Because like I after like 60 to 80 attempts, I finally got her. And what I thought got her, and then all of a sudden the video started playing. There's a clip of it. I was like, no, fuck. But
that was probably me with Sunflower. I can't believe they gave him 3 bars. I was like, when I got him down on the second, I was like, it's done. Finally,
I can't believe we kept that secret. I'm so happy.
I was so mad. I was like, no way. Are you telling me I'm only halfway there?
Oh, dude,
holy shit!
What a good fight.
Oh, I can't believe that was my hardest boss of
Insane.
all the bosses.
Yeah.
Insane that one. And then I go in there and what was I like? I wrecked the shit out of Radon on the last one.
He got fucked.
I can't believe that, and I feel like it should be the reverse. I feel like I think the reason why I got so frustrated with Sunflower, and I actually like the boss. I think the design and everything he's in like the moves he has, he was actually fun to do. But I was getting so frustrated because I was able to put out catastrophic damage on him, where I would just like half his health bar would just go if I landed it, and then all of a sudden I was like married to that move set where I was like, I have to do it this way, and oh god, it was like fighting the current. I couldn't stop. It was so bad, but I think I learned my lesson on later bosses because I feel like I was changing approaches quite a bit. I was like, okay, let me try this. I never even knew you could stack the passive effect with Lusat's staff, and I felt like that was probably what got me through Radon there.
Yeah, that was huge. That was
doing
really
big
good
damage on him. I was like, wow, okay. I was like, why didn't I approach Sunflower with like some open eyes rather than just go in there fucking stubborn as all shit, man?
Yeah, in the DLC I did a much better job of if something wasn't working, try something new. But I think that's, from learning from the base game. Sunflower for me was my second to last boss of the DLC. I found the Sunflower after Bale.
Oh wow.
Because I found Bale before that. I also waited on Bale for a bit. Sunflower was fine. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked that it was 3 boss bars. I don't because I don't think that's ever been done before, so it was nice. It was neat.
What?
What? Three of the same boss bar, no change? That's never happened before.
Oh no, you're okay. Now you're adding some real qualifiers here. Okay, no, actually, still it has happened.
Like
the final
what?
boss of Sekiro
Oh yeah.
No, because it's Genichiro, and
in the
then
3 Ishins.
what? No,
In
it's
the
just
3
2
Ishins.
Ishins, isn't
No,
it?
it's 3.
Oh,
No, it's 3
well,
Ishins.
Sekiro is a little different because, like,
Okay. Oh, but if you count, if the phase of the moon is Waiting Gibbons, and if it's on a Wednesday, it's never been done
no. But
before.
Sekiro is not like Dark Souls and how you defeat the boss. It's not. It's very different.
Okay.
It's either stamina or health, right?
I mean, look, if I'll agree to disagree.
Uh, I liked it because then how about we do it this way? In Elden Ring, that's the only boss that does it.
Okay, yeah, okay. In Elden Ring, it is the only one. That is true.
And in Dark Souls, I don't think it ever happened that way, right? In any of the bosses, there was no bosses that had.
Was it?
Dark Souls 3 DLC, unless it's not one boss.
So, are you talking about Dark
Talk about
Souls
the boss
3?
you summoned me for.
Yeah. So with her, you fight her, then you fight her dad, and then you fight her again,
It's
right?
still a 3-phase fight.
Yeah, but I don't even think that the 3 boss bars are 3 phases. That's what I'm talking about. There's no change in the boss. It's just the same boss 3 times for the Sunflower.
It's not. In phase 2 of the Sunflower, in phase 2, it can start using the dashing across the screen move.
Oh,
In
yeah,
phase 3,
okay.
it's blowing
Yeah,
the
fair
fuck
enough.
up.
Oh yeah, it blew up.
I forgot about the blow up part.
It's strange to me when you get they keep you on your toes now, and it's just kind of good. To kind of put like a cherry on your guys' argument here. It's like, is the phase going to happen like mid bar, or is it like you complete a whole bar and then you get a whole new bar?
Right.
And then really like you could have just put like that one bar like this big then.
Honestly,
really.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought they should have done. I did not want to compare Freed to the Sunflower because I don't think that they're the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think Freed is a much better.
Look at my kill count, they are. I mean, God.
Sorry to trigger you, Q. Sorry.
You're good. That's what's fun about the discussion. I just don't.
I like the way
I
they do it.
agree that Sunflower's a cool boss, and it's definitely the only boss in Elden Ring that did that. I just don't think it's fair to say it's the first time FromSoft has done a 3-phase fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what I meant when I said it, but if that's what I said,
that's
then
fair.
I
That's how I
apologize.
took it, and I'm not mad, to be clear. I got animated and like engaged and like big on it, but yeah.
I like when they do the way that they do it though, because I feel like for every single boss they're gonna choose the way they want it announced. So like if you get the phase at like halfway mark, they didn't really want to hide anything. Sunflower, they were absolutely hiding shit. Same with like Frida or something like that in Dark Souls 3. I mean, Frida was also dirty because they gave you an item after the second
That
phase.
was so gross.
And it makes you think that you're like, oh, there it is, GG. And then also it's like, no. And also you see, like, they pause a little bit and everything. So I feel like it's all just like a very big presentation for theatrics, but the way they do it is sometimes fantastic. It's really good.
What was your favorite side quest of the games? If there was one.
Alexander the Pot Boy.
Okay.
He's a bro.
Yeah, I liked Alexander.
I did love him. You didn't use him in the Radon fight though, right?
No. You can't. You can't.
There
Not
were
on
some really
first
good
playthrough,
ones.
at least.
Same with what was Bale's dude? That guy was hilarious.
He
Egon.
seemed funny. Oh yeah, okay.
What was his name? Sorry,
Egon.
I guess he didn't really technically have a quest though. He was just going to be there regardless, right? Or did he actually earn it?
You have to interact with them a couple times, I think, for him to appear.
Okay, so I must have done that just by happenstance. Okay. I liked Ymir stuff because I feel like that was super rewarding. And I guess I'm a bit biased because it gave me more spells and it gave me a whole boss and it was all kind of catered towards sorcery. So that was my favorite one of everything.
Did you successfully complete your quest with the teacher, the person that was teaching you spells? Was it Selen?
Selen.
I think so. I think
didn't you get stuck on like she kept like being in the same chat, but did you find her puppet version?
I want to say I have, or maybe I've watched a video at this point. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but I feel like I did, because then there was also the crystal-headed dude that you had to go.
Right. She had you go find his stuff, and then she
Yeah,
wanted you to free somebody, but was also yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I was curious if you got all that. I don't know if you did, or if you. I remember you saying you followed a video to get something. I think that might have been it, right?
there's been a couple times I've done stuff off stream just
Yeah.
because it was like, well, I missed it at this point, so now I'm just gonna I'm not
Yeah.
gonna sit there and like re-explore the game.
Oh yeah.
Like I obviously missed it, so now just show me the answers, teacher type thing.
Misclick. Sorry, everyone.
You're good. Uh, but yeah, like so, I think I did that right before like Bale or maybe before Radon or something like that, where that's where I ended up getting Golden Braid, because I was like, what talismans have I? And then I missed a lot in the Shadow Keep. I went
Yes.
through that off stream. I think the night before actually, I was like got all the way up to the 7th floor and stuff. And I was like, there's a shit ton to do in here. I was like, how did I miss all this? That was kind of fun. Okay, so big question then,
Yeah.
because these games are all about bosses, and that's what everyone talks about is bosses. What are your top 5 bosses across both the DLCs and the base game?
Both DLCs? Oh, you're saying both the
Or
DLC and the
both,
basic. Okay.
yeah.
Hold on. Melania is number one. I don't need to think about that. And then probably Consort Radon.
Ooh, okay.
And then Moog. And then Malakath. And then I want to have a spot for a big boy, so I'm probably gonna let Bale sneak in there because he was so sexy.
He was. He
He
was.
was so good.
Wombat?
Hmm. I want to say that Mesmer or Bale take top spot for me. And I want to say that because Consort Radon, while awesome, was also a repeat, right? Like as to your point, like he had a lot of the same moves from the original, but like he was different. He was
You're gonna
cool.
make me lose my shit, Wombat.
I liked Mesmer better than Consort. I'll just say that.
Go Mesmer.
What?
Yeah, it's between Mesmer and Bale for me. It's
Yeah,
not.
I liked Bale too, and I really like Dragons, so Bale's up there too. So I would say it's tied between Mesmer and Bale for top spot, and then Malekith is up there, Millennia is up there, and let me look at my boss list. Let's see here. Midra, maybe? I don't know.
Liked Midra.
I really liked Midra. I thought Midra was metal as fuck, so I really enjoyed that. Um, it's hard too. It's hard. So Trell, why is so one of yours got to be Astel, right? Like one of your top 5.
God. Honestly, like
Yeah, he's your fave 5.
honestly, I ranked him as A tier on boss fight. Like as just a ranking of bosses. He's not in my top 5, but I think his design and I think just from like seeing other videos of him and stuff like that, it's a good boss. I think there is, and it's probably just me. I feel like there was a bit of RNG in it, which would I honestly could probably rank him lower because it felt during that whole Astal fight
Oh my
that it was
God.
like a lot of just luck of trying to not get hit by some of those things. I'm probably just shit at it, and I'm sure there's like a strat of how to avoid it or something like that. But camera boss, it would came into play there as well, as long as it along with Bale. But I felt like I learned how to manage it with Bale. Astal's fight, I felt like I never learned how to manage it, and then there was just raining stuff everywhere. You couldn't see it. So like a lot of the big boys, and I really like the big boys. I've said that many times. Like the boss designs,
Yeah.
big gnarly dude that's just in there messing you up. I feel like they weren't as big maybe in like Dark Souls games. Like maybe limitation of the medium or something. I don't know. But like
Mhm.
they're getting bigger and bigger, but we're still having that same camera, and the camera's not able to really cope with some of these big dudes when it's just like pushing the camera around the screen. You're like, I can't see shit. What's happening? So
Yeah.
maybe they're gonna hit their peak of like they can't go any further with how big they are. Because honestly, like I don't know how you would deal with it where you can't see like a mile away where or their hand is or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
that's like do like Monster Hunter tricks where like you're like fighting them like from a vehicle or there's some gimmick to it to where it's like really zoomed out, so like it's not even like the same scale of the fight. But yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. So there's obviously going to have to be a limitation, I think, when they were pushing the boundaries there. Axel was a phenomenal thing to see, and so I can't believe they fucking repeated him. That's just disgusting that you would do that. Like when you created a beautiful looking thing and and then they just did the same thing. They're like, oh, we'll just make the room smaller and we'll call it a challenge. It's like, oh, that fuck
Got
you.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's just lazy. It's like you could have just not put a boss in this dungeon and that would have been fine. Um, for me, the top 5 would probably be. I might have to give it to Bale as the top. Maybe after that, Placidusax. I really like that one actually. Um, which is funny. I complained about dragons in the game, and look at that, top 2 spots of dragons. Then it might be like Millennia as 3. Um, it might be Midra as 4 or something like that. And I'm sure these are gonna change like daily if
Mhm.
someone asks me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I could give the last one to either Radagon, Malekith, or Romina. I really liked Romina for some reason. Romina was pretty good.
I mean, her design was incredible in my
It was
opinion.
great.
I know.
It was an anime fight. Yeah, it
Yep.
was yeah,
It was so good. And
and
that's
the
that's not to say
design
like
was so
I
cool.
really liked I really liked Mesmer. I really liked Malekith. I had an easier time with both those guys, and I don't think that just because like the difficulty of the boss equates to your favorite boss. I think that they're like Romina was easy, but I really liked Romina. I liked
Yep.
Mesmer in Malekith, but I just think that there was other ones that were I don't know better. I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
I get that.
Because then if you're gonna say, well, who's the toughest boss? Obviously, the toughest boss for me was fucking Sunflower, which is
Which is crazy.
oh my god. After that, probably it was Rolana. Rolana gave me a fucking hard time too.
Rolano was cool. I liked Rolano. Rolano was your first like gate check of the DLC.
Yeah. Oh, and it was really tough too because she was magic resistant, and I'm all magic, so I was like, I think I had to just poison Rodder, basically.
To your question, Matt, about what the right order of visit zone is, I don't know if there really is a right order. I mean, there's obviously like there's only in the sense that some ways are intended. Like if you go to Caelid first, you might have a tough time because that level is generally higher levels and harder. But if you know how to play the game, or you just have a stubborn head and you're happy with that, you can go there first. So my personal opinion is, whenever I play any of these Souls games, is I go to the area that looks the coolest to me. And I don't know if there's necessarily a right order and a way to do things, unless you really care about
I would, I
not.
would,
Yeah, go ahead, Trell.
I would probably agree and disagree with that in some regards. Like, I think
Hmm.
the open worldness makes it so you can just go wherever you want. It's your game. You choose your own adventure. But there also is those like bonfire pointing signals. I think that they do
Yeah,
try to like
but
zero you
yeah,
in on a direction to go to. So, but you don't have to listen to them. So you can say fuck off. I'm going to go over here because it's cool. Like to your point. But I think if you're looking for like what do I got to do now? Like you can always rely on those to like, hey, you're supposed to go this way next. You're like, okay,
yeah, there's definitely an intended order,
Yeah,
and I guess that it would be the right order.
the
But
smithing
if
stones
so,
kind of help you know what the order of things were based on what levels of smithing stones are in
yeah,
that area, right? Yeah.
I just feel like if someone asks me if someone's gonna play this game for the first time, like, well, where should I go? I'm like, whatever way looks cool, and if you encounter too much resistance, go pick a different way.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
just like Dark Souls, right? You go,
Yep.
and, the skeletons wreck your shit. Okay, I should come back later. You go and you can't attack the ghosts and they kill you. Come back here later. I guess I need an item. Go to Blighttown and just can't get out. I guess I shouldn't have come here in the first place. right?
You shouldn't come here.
You've met with an unfortunate fate, haven't you?
Uh,
I would say the order in which I assume that they wanted us to do it in is Liurnia, Weeping Peninsula, Lake of Liurnia, Altus Plateau, Volcano Manor, Caelid, Capital.
I feel like Caled came way earlier.
Caelid's easy to wander into, but it's like the skeleton area of Dark Souls 1. Especially Dragon Barrow's side of things. Dragon Barrow is so much more difficult than base Caelid.
That's fair.
So Caelid, and then Capital, and then Snowfield, and or like the giant top stuff. Snowfield, Floaty Dragonland, and then DLC, right?
What was the area you guys spent the least amount of time in?
I don't know that.
Lake of Rot.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
fast.
Lake of Rot's pretty quick, right? So least amount of time.
I was gonna say Snowfield.
I spent a lot of time in there. There's a ton of bosses in there that you missed.
Yeah, there's a bunch of caves. There's like that dragon boss, some Deathrite bird. So I spent more time there than Lake of Rot. But you're right. That's definitely in the top 3 areas I spent the least amount of time in, for sure.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it had as much bite as some of the other areas. It was kind of like it was cool to see like snow area, but I just don't. That's probably one of the least memorable areas. Like Lake of Rot, I'm like, oh man, I remember that area.
Lake of Rot had 2 bosses. It had the Astel and the Dragonkin Soldier, whereas Snowfield had actually, and the order of 8 areas is actually listed in the Elden Ring boss checklist I shared. It's in the order that's intended by the developers. Consecrated Snowfields had 9 bosses.
Really?
Yeah, including a duo Night Ring Race. So yeah, it looks like it's Limgrave, Weeping Peninsula, Liurnia. Caelid is 4. Okay.
It's 4. Okay.
Where's my pen? Thanks, Amelia.
Cats do be like that.
Cats.
Yeah, I have 5 cats now. Come on. What?
Let's go,
dude. So that would be you as a boss, would be like the cat hoarder.
You're just Capra Demon, but with cats.
Catra Demon, I guess.
Yeah, the Catra Demon.
So okay then, across all FromSoft games, what's your top 5, and how many of those are Elden Ring?
Oh no! Hold on. The Sekiro count?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't pick 5.
I know that's hard, dude.
I'm picking my favorite to fight, not the hardest, or else it'd be Ebrita, Daughter of Chaos, for no fucking reason. That's my sunflower fight. Most people probably don't even remember who that is because it's such a nothing boss.
Is that from Bloodborne?
Yeah, it's a giant squid octopus.
Oh yeah, the princess from space.
It literally shouldn't even be that hard.
I don't know why that was difficult. Your hardest one.
She was difficult.
Then again, why was Sunflower my hardest?
It's just how it goes.
No, she was really hard for me too, Kirby.
That makes me feel a bit better then, because you're the first person I've actually heard one about who said that. Everyone else is like, oh yeah, it's like you could do like maybe 10 tries, something like moderate.
No, it took me a while. I had to come back a couple times.
Yeah, because see, like I want to say like Ornstein and Smo and stuff like that for like the nostalgia of like that was my first real roadblock. 'Cause it was my first Souls game, but like there are so many. I need a notepad. Where's my notepad? Let me just list everyone I really love.
Yeah, I can't give you a top 5, Trell. They're too different. There's too many.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my best here.
I'm trying my best to come up with.
No one from Dark Souls 2 is on this list.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, then we gotta really just lock in here. God. My top 5 is almost exclusively women. I'm very progressive.
So wait, you're progressive because you like beating women.
Yes. I
Wow,
wouldn't admit to that. I would. I see them. They're equal. They're equal. Like, why you would fight a woman? Exactly.
that's funny.
Just had to point that out.
The fucking smelter demon, Doritos, and cool. Dude,
I'm surprised you're not putting the Rotten as your top boss. To be honest.
I forgot he existed until you just said that. So, I like Lady Butterfly a lot too, like a lot.
Fuck, Lady Butterfly. Fuck.
I'm
Fuck, you're
she
messing
needs
up
to
my
be.
whole list.
Fuck this. This is a tough. This is a tough one. So it's gonna be Pinwheel followed by no. For real, okay. My real list is this, and God, this is hard. Like really fucking hard
I
for me.
know it's a silly question, but
And so my top 4, I'm just trying to figure out is Melania is my favorite. I love Melania, and then
of all
Freed.
time,
Yes,
oh, she beats out Freed.
and then
What?
Freed because Melania was harder for me, and even though
She
it
is
was
harder,
different,
yeah.
and then Maria, which fuck you, Trell. And then I was gonna put Lady Butterfly because I like her. She's not that hard, but I thought her illusions and her jumping around and throwing her little needles from the burning building, jumping around the threads was really fucking cool. No, I can't put her in. I can't put her in. She doesn't go there. Instead, I'm going to give it to Gale from also Dark Souls 3, and then I wanted to give it to Nameless King,
Okay.
and I'm gonna be real. This is purely for nostalgia. I'm gonna give it to Ornstein and Smo because they're one of the most memorable bosses because of how long I was getting my ass beat by them.
Honestly, that's a top tier list, man. That's hard to
That was very tough, and like a lot of bosses I feel like they got shafted, but that's the nature of this. Like I wanted to include so many other bosses.
I'm gonna give you my top 6 because there's 6 games,
okay.
and I'm gonna just do one from each.
That's fair.
So I'm just gonna. This is in no particular order. I'm gonna start with
Mhm.
Bloodborne first. The Orphan of Kos
He's good.
was my favorite
Or
of
some say
Bloodborne.
Cosm.
With the yo-yo thing, it was pretty cool.
It's a placenta, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, just making sure that's what. Okay, yeah.
The yo-yo placenta. Yeah.
That was so weird.
It
It really was.
in fact, Putrescent Knight reminded me of Orphan. It didn't get to be anything like Orphan, but it reminded me of Orphan for a second. Let's see. Let's go to Sekiro. I think my favorite boss in Sekiro was the monkey fight. I think I really liked the monkey fight the best.
That's a good one.
It was a really unique one.
Yeah,
If I picked from Sekiro, it would have been Butterfly or Ishin.
yeah,
But uniqueness, yeah, I gotta agree with you 100%.
yeah,
There.
yeah. That one was unique, and like the grotesque factor to it at the end when you go to phase 2.
Yeah,
I think that got all of us. So that one's my favorite, just
because
for
they fucking say like what, like Shinobi defeat whatever the hell
right.
it says,
And then all of a sudden it gets
Asshole.
fucking back up. It was amazing. So like I love that. That was great.
I agree. That's a very good pick.
Let's see. For Elden Ring, my favorite is I'm gonna stick to my guns here and say Bale.
Okay.
So that's the 3, not Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1's got to be Gwyn.
Ooh, okay.
For a couple reasons. Charlie, you watched my Gwyn. Gwyn I beat pretty quickly, but because I played Dark Souls 3 first, I recognized the theme of Gwyn from the final boss fight of 3 and had the opposite effect that most people had when they fought the Dark Souls 3 boss.
Okay.
I was like, it was the first time I finally got parries to happen, and it was on Gwyn, so it was just that was just a memorable moment for me. For Dark Souls 2, oh gosh, what was my favorite boss fight in Dark Souls 2?
Mine would be Sir Alone from the DLC, or Fume Knight maybe, one of those two.
Not Burnt Ivory? Wow.
No, they're all those are the top three, but I like the other two more than him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been Dark Souls 3 was my most recent Dark Souls played, but I played Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 2, I mean, is my most recent Dark Souls played in terms of beating. But like I played Dark Souls 3 so much it's kind of hard to like I'll go to Dark Souls 3 for now. Dark Souls 3, my favorite is probably Dancer, because of the difference in the fight and just it's so cool. But like then there's also the DLC bosses, and the DLC bosses are just so cool. So I think I'm just gonna skip Dark Souls 2. Even though like there's a lot of great bosses in Dark Souls 2. I really like the big spider boss, and I liked some of the references to some of the other bosses, but like there's just so many bangers in Dark Souls 3 that it's especially with the DLC it's hard. So like I really liked what's his face? Gale. Right? It's Gale.
Yeah. That was.
I really liked Gale. I really liked Midir. I like the twin demon princes. Like, there's a lot of good ones in there.
Yes.
But like, Dancer was just such a unique fight in terms of like how, like all the different like background information about Dancer, like how she moves to the rhythm and stuff like that is really cool. And I really, it's really tough to pick like a second one for Dark Souls 3. So I won't. I'll just do Millennia, I guess.
Fair enough. But actually, you said there were 6 games, but you completely shafted Demon Souls.
I haven't played Demon Souls.
I know, but
so there's 6 games that I'm aware of. I
won't talk about the Demon Souls bosses out of respect of spoilers, but that game actually has a few pretty fun ones I like a lot.
I know you said that, and I completely forgot about them too.
Yes.
Because there was some pretty good ones. God damn. I didn't even consider that in this list. Hold on, let me look.
Wait, what was that? Sorry.
I didn't even consider any of those dudes in this list, so I got.
Not for top 5, if I'm doing it collectively, but like when I think about, I like this boss, and when Wombat said that he'll list one from like every game he's played, I was like, there are some good Demon Souls bosses that I would list, but they're not going to make my overall top 5. It was already hard enough doing it without thinking about that game. Damn it.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, like just to brush on that subject quickly, Demon Souls had a lot of really good bosses.
It did.
I don't know if any of them would take top 5 spot.
No, I'll admit, because a lot of the ones I really like obviously influence some future bosses.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you know what? Okay, and I played those first, and that's just how it goes. But yeah.
I would definitely say I feel like that, like Demon Souls, I'm glad I played through it because it was a phenomenal game, and I would recommend anyone to go through it. But yeah, looking at some of these, they definitely took some their first try at some of the bosses in Demon Souls, and then they were like, let's iterate on that again.
Yeah, let's run that back. We can do better. Yeah.
Like, we learned some things. Let's do that again, and we're gonna do it better.
I'm gonna DM you real quick, Charles, because Wombat's here, and I just want to say something about Demon Souls. But
okay.
not the Rogue Souls. Where's just you?
I feel like my favorite one from Demon Souls would be OKA, and I'll just say that. Okay, I'm getting this. I'm in the DMs.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I mean,
Wait, what the fuck?
I think that's what I just said is my fave, though.
No. There's no way you mean. Hold on. I think I know who you're talking about. You're talking about. There's no way we're talking about the same guy.
If I remember right, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there was a good little bit to it though?
I'm talking about. Unless I'm an idiot. Where is the part of this video? This copy video. This is your favorite? It's timestamped. You don't.
Oh, hold on. Let me watch this briefly, real quick. Oh no, not that. No.
Okay. Yes, I know who you're talking about, and I agree. I'm saying like that thing.
No. Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of like the.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Okay. I think
yes. Okay. I'm like, if that is your favorite boss, I am so upset with you.
That's like saying that Bed of Chaos is your favorite
Yes.
boss.
Okay, we're good. We're good. Nice.
Yeah. Glad we could clear this
Yeah, of
up.
course.
We're gonna take that offline
Oh
almost.
man.
All right. So I think if I'm gonna give my top 5 bosses, it would have to
Yep.
be, and it's probably heavily weighted into Dark Souls 3, which I
Sure.
think says a lot, right?
Like I said, like we said at the beginning, even though Elden Ring is my favorite because of how big and open and how much shit there is to do, Dark Souls 3 on average probably has my highest boss score. And I haven't sat down and done the numbers, but I would agree Dark Souls 3 is incredible with its boss roster.
And to me, that's why I think Dark Souls 3 is better than Elden Ring, because as
That's fair.
where Elden Ring was S tier at exploration over
Yep.
Dark Souls, I like the FromSoft games for the bosses, and the one that output the best bosses was Dark Souls 3. Therefore, I think Dark
There
Souls
we
3.
go.
I
I think you'll really like Lies of P for that
I-
reason. It has some very good bosses as well.
I don't know if I would say that Elden Ring did exploration better. It just had some really, really cool standout areas because like there was a lot of areas where it was a big area, but there was sometimes nothing in them but like a smattering of enemies, right? Or like there were items, but not anything worth exploring for.
Yeah, I get that. Depending
It
on
did exploration like how Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom did, I guess.
I wouldn't even say that because Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, they filled their stuff with, I mean, the same kind of content, yes, but
yeah,
like,
you get Korok seeds. Those are the most
Yeah,
useful
the Korok-
fucking thing ever.
right? I would, yeah, I guess to compare it, about as useless, yeah, in terms of it, but like I don't know, it felt a little bit different.
Adventure is there though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, what is out there to find? Korok seeds, cool.
Oh, I got a DM to kill something real quick. Actually, I get in his DMs now. It's about Lies of P. That's why I can't say it.
Oh, I need to play that one. All right, so my top 5 would probably be Nameless King has always been my fave, and I think he's still, after all that, he's still my fave. After like, what's your favorite boss? Like, it's so hard because I feel like that changes, but Nameless King's always been a solid rock for me there. I could say Gale as well, Frida, Artorias. I'm surprised none of you guys dropped Artorias.
It was hard. There's too many guys.
Artorias, yeah, you're right.
His flip
Yeah.
is so good.
Iconic.
His flip is used by you in many games, is used
Yes.
in many other bosses.
It's so
Artorias, I feel like,
good.
was the start for many bosses.
I agree. And
insane.
Artorias is fucking incredible.
They always go back to Artorias' move sets and lots of bosses. Man, fuck, you got the Abyss Watchers, but I can't say them over Midir. Midir,
Right, dude. It's so top. Oh my god, I didn't see Midir.
I know. Yeah.
I said Midir.
Man, I mean, and then, God, who was my favorite from like Sekiro though? I could say Ishin because Ishin was fucking fantastic. But then you
Did
got
you like Ishin more than Demon of Hatred? I'm only asking this because of your, how much you like the big boys. And
Man,
Sekiro didn't have too many big boys, right? So
It didn't. I honestly, if I was gonna say who my favorite boss was, you could say Ishin or Demon of Hatred, but also Guardian Ape was a fucking banger, dude.
Yeah.
Just because it got everybody.
yes, anyone who says that didn't surprise him is a fucking liar or had it spoiled.
Yeah, it was so good, man. I don't know. So yeah, I think in there.
What are you gonna cut?
What are you gonna cut?
What are you gonna cut?
Because like God, here, look, I was Googling just to try to like help me find something, and I feel like this list, I would agree with it in some ways. I feel like I have different opinions on stuff, but look at this. Tier maker for all FromSoft games, and look at where all the Dark Souls 3 boys land.
F minus. Who the fuck?
They have an S plus tier in this, so it's S and S plus apparently.
Wait. So this is all FromSoft games, right?
I don't think they have Demon Souls in here though.
Okay, well, I'm just saying,
Good.
like, there are some bosses I expect to see an F minus, and they're just not there, and I'm wondering.
No, Demon Souls is in here. I see. I
Oh, then
see.
don't look too much, Wombat.
Yeah, I see a bunch of Demon Souls in here.
I agree
Not-
with a
nothing
lot
toward
of
the
their
top,
rankings, except for I don't know where Bed of Chaos is, but I don't see them in F minus, so I'm just confused as to how.
Yeah, Bed of Chaos is one of the worst ever.
Like, there's no like, sure, Brain Sucker, yeah, they suck. The Kindred Rot duo, fine, but they're not worse than fucking Bed of Chaos
Who did you say
or that
earlier?
one.
You said the name earlier. I can't remember now.
Who?
Really bad boss, Dark Souls 1.
Patches? Not
Nope.
Patches. Pinwheel.
Pinwheel, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I did not mean Patches.
Wait, Pinwheel and Bed of Chaos are not an F minus. I don't know what this list is.
Where are you gonna put them, bro? I would let Pinwheel be an F plus if that's the thing. Only or F or E. Only because if you're somehow like memeing around and he makes 1,000 copies of himself, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. But like, if you're even trying remotely, like, no joke, if you went to Pinwheel right now and said, Aiden, fight this boss, I think he would win within at least 3 attempts, just so he can learn the controls. But
Probably. It was so
Also,
bad.
I'm surprised they put Ancient Dragon as an E tier. Like, what?
he's an A?
E.
Oh, E. Oh, okay.
He's like C.
Two?
Yeah, that's the big old dragon. He's like a
Yeah,
C.
maybe because he has some goofy foot hitboxes where
or
he can just
yeah,
hit you, but yeah.
and then his run back is shitty. But like,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Do you count the run backs?
I can't have him in the same tier as Covetous Demon. Like, come on.
That's
Yeah.
true because
He's gonna be at least a D.
The cool factor, like if you look cool, I'm gonna rank
Right,
you higher.
right.
Than if you looked lame, but you had the same mechanics.
Dark Lurker and Mytha the Baneful
I forgot about
Queen
Dark Lurker.
from Dark Souls 2 are. I think that's wrong to put them in C tier. That's pretty.
Yeah,
Wrong.
I like that Pontiff is high. Pontiff was high for me.
Pontiff is sick.
I got Pontiff second try.
Oh wow, Pontiff was really good. Man, I didn't say Pontiff. Honestly, and I know I meme on.
Actually,
you a lot
no,
about
I got
Kirby.
Pontiff first try. That's right.
I never really saw a lot of Lady Maria to be able to rank her because
Dude, she was.
so
You were
bad.
too good for her. She was so fucking good.
Everyone talks about Lady Maria. I need to go watch more videos about it. I think I have seen, and she looks like she would be an interesting boss to fight. But I didn't give her a chance because I just put her down so quick. So I was like, yeah. I always forget her name. I'm like, who was that one chick? Oh yeah, the
I
clown
know.
color.
He's so fun. Or she's so fun. Sorry.
I know. I like. It's kind of like Ludwig. Man, I didn't say Ludwig either.
Ludwig and Lawrence are both fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where are the living failures on this list?
Oh God.
How'd they put Godskin Nobles in C?
Let's go. Yeah, hold on.
In any case,
Good.
yeah, I think Elden Ring and whatnot, great game. Really enjoyed it. Took up a lot of our years in the last couple years, right?
Yep.
Some more than others, but we've got Night Rain coming, so I guess the
We
Elden
got
Ring
a
journey
resident
isn't.
expert here soon. Who's gonna give us all the details from the ground floor.
Yeah.
I'm in the beta. I'm gonna give you all that hot scoop.
So do we do a podcast for you telling us about the beta and us like
I'm down.
tearing it apart?
I mean, like, it was cool since they're using a lot of bosses. We probably won't get spoiled on things. Like, I don't like if he's like, oh yeah, they have they put. I'm trying to say someone who like Pontiff's in there. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wouldn't be like mad about knowing that Pontiff is in the beta, or
Yeah.
sorry, in Night Rain.
They're probably looking at the same list and saying, "Oh yeah, we got to put that boss in," and "Oh yeah, we got to put that boss in."
Yeah.
Probably. They're like, all right, someone already ranked them for us, right? We gotta put these ones.
Cool. Let's just we'll just use
Is
these guys. These guys rank
is
list.
Night Rain just like the Hyrule Warriors game, but like right? Like Hyrule Warriors brought in like a whole bunch of different. The first one brought in a whole bunch of different games from Zelda, and then just
Yeah.
kind of mashed them all together, right? All their storylines. Is that
Yeah.
really what Night Rain's going to be like? Just like connecting everything to itself.
I don't
That'd
know
be
if they're.
cool.
I'd be shocked if there's an actual storyline. I feel like it's just gonna kind of be like.
If they have a story, I'm gonna care about it as much as the rest of them, which is not at all. So we'll see.
Yeah, like to me at least. I don't know. Did you guys see the trailer or did you just
Yeah.
not watch it?
I watched it.
I watched it. Yeah.
Okay. I know that sometimes you try to remain unspoiled, Kirby. So I wasn't sure.
For this, I wasn't too worried about it, but yeah, you're right. I do normally do that. But this, I was like, yeah, just show me. So I did
Well,
watch it.
I had no idea what it was to begin with until they announced it, and I was like, no way are they doing more DLC. And then when you start kind of watching it, and you're like, oh, this is like a co-op, like
Yeah.
roguelike. And apparently it's got Fortnite things too, where you're like there's a bubble pushing you in to try to get you to complete. It's supposed to be like 30-minute runs, I think, where it's like centered on there's one big boss and maybe some
Yep.
other things in there, and you just
Yeah, I heard that has there's like battle royale fog where it focuses you like you get to run around, explore, and power up. Then it focuses you into the boss arena with fog coming in, like Fortnite, Apex, all those games.
I think that's also to prevent you from sitting there farming too, so you're like super stacked.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
So it sounds like not a typical FromSoft experience that you would get. I would be excited to try it just to say like, hey, what it is, but I'm not like thinking that it's going to be the next FromSoft single player experience game that I want to play. Kind of like when they came out with Fallout 76. It was like, this is not my next Fallout game. This is just a spin-off, right? That's what it is. But I'm excited to see it, and like we saw some bosses already teased in there, like they had Nameless King in that trailer. So do I think it's going to be the same experience as if you were playing Dark Souls 3 and you met Nameless King for the first time there? No, but I'd be happy if they have 3 brand spanking new bosses, and I don't think it's going to be the same experience because it's all co-op or whatever. But I'd be happy to just like give me 3 bosses that are completely brand spanking new. And I'll buy it maybe if it's on sale because I don't want to spend like $80 on it.
If it's 1 or 3 player only, then is that something we do as Rogue Scholar's first game, like that we play through together? Like,
if it's not expensive, I'm not paying unless Shaw comes back and tells me it's a fucking banger. I'm not paying more than $20.
Well, yeah, but like if you wait for it for sale, then we could just play it together when that happens, right? Like,
yeah, that'd be fine because that's realistically the only way I would want to play it. So yes.
Yeah, no, I'd be down for that. Then we can like do the whole Fortnite thing and see like, boys, where are we dropping?
Dude, I'm dropping in Caelid, baby.
I'm circling.
Just drop into Caelid.
Let's rotate over this way.
We gotta rotate over here. What up, May?
Hey, May.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, that being said, it is getting later on in the stream. I know we've got stuff to do.
At 9:15 if we got there first, but yeah, I'm happy to do wrap ups.
Now that May's here, we better get going.
Oh,
right?
May, yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's who's rolling in. It's that time.
So I guess finally, just to put a pin in all of this stuff, Elden Ring, your rankings out of 10.
I still give Elden Ring as a whole package a 10, which to me, again, is not perfect because it's far from it. Not far from it, but it's not perfect. But it is a masterpiece in my opinion. And with the DLC as well, I'd probably give a 9.5 or a 10, but it's definitely my favorite DLC I've ever played, and it's also Elden Ring it's one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game.
Did you like the base game more than the DLC?
I like this DLC better.
I probably did too, because like you guys are saying, where it's like, it's more tight. It's a more tight thing, which is of course what I was looking for after as big as the base game was. So yeah, I probably did. And there were less fluff bosses, so.
Yeah, I would agree. I like taking a break from it and then coming back, and and then it wasn't as many. It was shorter time. I feel like it was a more enjoyable experience on the DLC than the base game. Mainly because like you had an all you could eat fucking buffet with the other one, and you're like, God, you really done. I want to go home, but it's like, no, you paid for 3 hours of eating. You need to.
Nah, you're eating, bitch. Yeah, open wide.
Yeah. So I would agree with all those points. I would say in total probably a 9 out of 10 for me.
There we
go. Dark Souls 3 would probably be the 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just rate it based on do I want to build it in Minecraft, and Dark Souls 3 I do. Elden Ring, I'm like, I'm good not building in Minecraft. So Dark Souls 3 takes the cake, but the DLC, I think, beat Dark Souls 3. So it's DLC, or Shadow of the Erdtree, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, just below it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if there was an area from all of Dark Souls, or from all of Elden Ring, including DLC, that you would pick to build in Minecraft? What would it be?
So I don't really want to, like, the Academy would be kind of cool to build, but I don't want to build it. I don't know why.
Which area?
What? The Academy.
Academy, okay.
I heard the economy. I was like, what?
That's what I heard. I was like, wait, what?
The Shadow Keep's pretty cool.
That would have been my area, if anywhere. It would be Shadow Keep.
But it wasn't like... it would just be cool because the main area is all just like this one big thing, right? So kind of like The thing that made me want to build Lothric Castle in Dark Souls 3 is because of the archives, right? The archives is just this big old room, circular, and the Shadowkeep's interior was very similar to that. So it would probably be that.
Gotcha.
Also, it'd be kind of cool to build all the stuff in the church district and then flood it, so like all that stuff's underwater and you explore it in Minecraft. It'd be kind of cool.
That would be actually pretty neat. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That'd be kind of cool.
But that'll be next decade's project, I guess, because I'm still working on Lothric Castle. So
do you actively still do it, or?
well, the server that it's on is kind of closed right now, so I'm trying to figure out a way to host it myself so I can continue. But I'm at the Lothric Brothers room. That's where I'm at.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Awesome time as always. Everyone, thank you for joining us, and of course for playing Elden Ring alongside us. It's been pretty awesome.
Fun.
Yeah. So we'll talk Night Rain at some point. We've also got the game that we're all playing, right? As a whole.
Yeah, Blue Flame, Blue Fire,
Blue Fire,
something like that. Yes, yes. I've not started, obviously.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
I know it exists.
So we'll be getting to that in another. So maybe 2 more podcasts this year before our anniversary or our annual one. So
yeah. Always fun.
Always fun. Yeah.
Maybe we'll come up with some other spontaneous ideas for one. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. All right, folks. Have a good one.
Yup.
See you guys.
See you, everyone.